American investors have been slow to realize the potential of the African growth story, allowing Asia, Latin America and Europe to gain an edge on exports to sub-Saharan Africa. The Overseas Private Investment Corporation, a US government body, is a catalyst to changing that. OPIC ensures wary investors against political risk, providing billions of dollars in loans guaranteed by their own government. OPIC is engaged with many energy projects across sub-Saharan Africa.
Right now in our portfolio, we have about $1.7 billion in our pipeline. I would say a third of that is actually renewable and two-thirds is thermal.
Up until very recently, OPIC was required to limit the greenhouse gas emissions its projects could produce. These caps have been lifted temporarily in a recent budget. Now some lawmakers want them to be permanent.
Carbon caps in Africa that have kept Africans from having power, which is not the agenda we're pursuing here. And I know you understand that a big piece of the power generation in the future is really going to be through natural gas.
The US multinational General Electric wants lawmakers to help them remove barriers to tapping the abundant natural gas reserves found in places like Tanzania and Kenya.
We believe there needs to be an intense focus on gas to power. One of the most frustrating things in sub-Saharan Africa is you have all this gas and no way to translate it into power.
The US government favors a wide mix of energy sources. The anti-poverty group, co-founded by U2 singer Bono, known as the One Campaign, is also adding its voice.
The people of Africa must be in the driver's seat in terms of the mix of power sources. The good news is African countries are harnessing what they already have in abundance: solar, wind, geothermal, hydro, natural gas, resulting in a mix far more sustainable than we have in the United States.
The US Congress is now considering a proposed new law called Electrify Africa to complement President Obama's Power Africa initiative. Critics of the traditional big grid approach to carbon power development in Africa say there should now be more effort to promote sustainable solutions.
Instead of spending billions of dollars building huge, polluting central station generators and stringing thousands of miles of transmission lines, there's an opportunity here to build a more decentralized grid that utilizes local renewable resources.
There's a lot at stake. Expanded access to electricity will help improve the quality of the lives of millions of people. And it turns on the switch to billions of dollars of future business opportunities for US companies. Decision makers here know it also means navigating a complex series of social, political and environmental issues as the voltage is turned up on Power Africa. Daniel Wrenches, CCTV, Washington.
It's also worth pointing out in his submissions to the American Senate, the Nigerian economist Tony Elumelu also called for the passage of the Electrify Africa Act, likening it really to the African Growth and Opportunities Act, the AGOA Act, if you will, which opened up American markets to African goods and commodities. He also asked American investors to take a long-term approach when putting their money into the continent, since Africa is still de-risking a lot of the sectors in which they can invest. Elumelu's Heirs Holdings committed about $2.5 billion of its own money to the Power Africa project. That's over and above the $7 billion that the US government is putting into the same idea.